Let's talk about backlinks today. Backlinks are or has been considered to be the holy grail of SEO, search engine optimizations. There's a lot of controversy around backlinks because over the years it's been used, it's been abused. It's been a hallmark of black hat SEO for certain providers, and websites have risen and fallen based on their backlinks. So it's an important part of SEO, but there's some pretty important news coming out of Google for when it comes to backlinks, its importance and how you can use it and things like that. So in this episode, what I want to do is I want to talk about the history of backlinks, give you an overview of what it is, the different ways in which people have used it, and the way in which it's been abused. It's been one of the most abused elements of SEO historically. They're very difficult to get, so I'm not going to lie. The quality ones are really difficult to get, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about Google's current position on backlinks as well, because there was some pretty big news coming out. I wouldn't say it was an official news or anything like that, but it was definitely a point made by Google's head of search when he said that backlinks are not used in the algorithm as much as people think. So we'll talk about that as well. I'll give you my opinions. But we'll also talk about what this means for your SEO, right? I mean, we can talk about all these things, but at the end of the day, we wanna make it relatable to you to see, okay, how does it impact your SEO? How does it impact your business? How does it impact your traffic and all that kind of stuff? So we're gonna have a pretty in-depth conversation around this topic, and I hope to get you educated on what this means and get this moving. So let's talk backlinks today. Welcome to the latest episode of Corner Your Market. I'm your host, Sailesh Kimide. In this podcast, I talk about all things digital marketing, from website design and development to SEO and PPC, as well as paid advertising, email marketing, social media, and anything in between. If you're a small business owner, a marketing manager in a company, or an entrepreneur, this podcast is for you. So tune in every Thursday at 10 a.m. You'll gain some practical insights, new strategies, tactics, and tools that will help you grow your business. To subscribe, go to corneryourmarketpodcast.com and select the podcast app of your choice. Then you can hit subscribe within those apps. That again is corneryourmarketpodcast.com. Also, don't forget to like and share our individual episodes. You can also leave a review in the app once you've listened to one of our episodes. In terms of the history and the importance of backlinks, it goes back to the very early days of Google's founders. They were the ones that actually made backlinks a central part of their algorithm, and pretty much you can say backlinks pretty much built Google from the beginning. There was a concept. This was a concept that came out of their Larry Page and Sergey Brin's. They're the founders of Google. It came out of their paper, I believe, at Stanford University when they were students there in the late 1990s. It was inspired by the concept of citation analysis, which determines the importance of academic papers based on how many other papers cite them. So for instance, maybe you wrote a paper or a professor's written a paper on XYZ, and if that's a really good paper and it makes a lot of good points and things like that, then others in the related field would cite that paper and pretty much use it as a source, right? So the idea of backlink comes from this idea that if people are linking to your website and they're relevant to your industry, so if you're selling golf clubs and a bunch of athletes, golfers, and a bunch of golf resorts link to your company, then that obviously means that you might be an authority on that particular topic, right? So that's where the idea comes from. And based off of this idea, they popularized this term called PageRank. In the early days of Google, you could actually see there used to be a toolbar, a PageRank toolbar that you could install on your browser, and you could get a PageRank number associated with your website. And it was kind of a good way to know what the authority level was of your website, right? So So it basically showed people how important this website was, or this particular page was. And so it was basically a model for a random web surfer to get an idea for, oh, the page rank of this is XYZ or whatever the number is, and they would know that this is an authoritative website. And obviously, PageRank was used, was a central element of the search algorithm and how things were ranked when you did a search for a particular term. So that's kind of it was actually a patented item. I'm just scrolling through my notes here. It was a patented item. PageRank was actually patented September 1st, 1998, and it was titled "Method for Node Ranking in a Linked Database." And so it helped Google provide relevant search results, and it was astronomically good. I mean, I actually remember the day that a web designer, developer told me, hey, you got to check out this search engine called Google. And I remember going back to my office and Googling stuff and going, wow, this thing is really good. I think it was the fall of 98 or early 1999. And that's when I said, bye-bye Yahoo, bye-bye Alta Vista, bye-bye, Ask Jeeves and all these different search engines that were out there. So I was a big fan of Google early on, but my sentiment towards the company has changed, but that is not the focus of this podcast episode. However, going back to PageRank, as the web grew, right? I mean, billions and billions of websites. I remember Homer Simpson's comment way back in the early days of the web. He's sitting in front of the laptop and saying, so many websites, so little time. And he's just going through websites like crazy. So as the web grew, Google redefined the PageRank algorithm to combat web spam and link manipulation tactics like farms and link buying. Obviously, as the word got out that links was an important part of SEO, people were setting up web spam farms. Basically, people would buy a domain name and charge people for a link on that website back to your page, right? So I remember link farms up the wazoo. People were buying and selling links. It was big business. I mean, maybe not multi-billion-dollar oil business, but for back in the day, considering the size of the web, it was definitely a business worth having. I mean, I remember selling links myself. I mean, back in the day, I remember buying links. I mean, I remember, just logging into PayPal and paying some dude to put my link back to my site. I mean, yeah. So in fact, though, I set up a PayPal account just so I could buy and sell links back in the day. So PageRank is not advertised anymore. Obviously, it's not even, you can't even get you don't even get a PageRank score anymore that you can display on the toolbar. So because it's been abused, Black Hat SEO, link farms, link buying, link exchanges, manipulative link building. I remember there was a time when people were saying, well, why don't you, buy 5 domains, and then buy those 5 domains. It was pretty easy to set up a website, set up a one-page website, put some content on it and link back to your main website, right? So now you got 5 backlinks, or maybe if you got 2 per each, you got, 20, 10, sorry. I mean, there were people doing that, actively doing that. And so it became harder and harder to differentiate between good sites, bad sites, and things like that. So Google's search started to get affected back in, this is 2005, 2006, 2007 timeframe. It's getting to be really bad. At the time, I had a website. I'm not going to divulge the name of it. And I had a blog, and I knew of these tactics, and I never did Black Hat SEO. But one thing that I did notice is that if I went to certain communities related to my industry at the time, I was in a different industry. If I went to certain communities and they had do follow links, and so if you wrote a post on there and you linked it back to my site, I was starting to get I was writing, like, if I was blogging 3 on my own website, I was basically blogging twice a week on their site, and I was just getting links back to my site. And there was like 5 or 6 communities I was a part of, maybe 3 or 4. And I was getting a ton of backlinks to my site, and my site was ranking like crazy, number 1 for like 30 or 40 terms across the board. And I was generating a lot of leads back then with that. And it was a very profitable industry that I was in. And so I was able to do that. And then I used to get a lot of solicitations because my site ranked so well. I used to get a lot of solicitations for links back to their site, right? So, and so I would get, hey, for $15, can I get this anchor text linked back to my site? And yeah, my PayPal account, I gave them my PayPal account. They'd send me $15, and then I'd put a link back to their site, So yeah, I wasn't doing by month or anything like that. It was just, they would just do it, right? So I thought I was being pretty clever. It wasn't illegal. There wasn't anything that said that it was bad or anything like that. But I was doing it, and my site ranked really well. In fact, I even got several offers for my site, and I eventually sold it. So it worked out well for me, and I timed it without really knowing what was going on, to be honest with you, because in 2011 came the Panda update. The 2011 Panda update, it was February of 2011. It targeted websites with thin, low-quality content, like those one-pagers that I mentioned to you, to penalize sites with large amounts of duplicate, plagiarized, or low-value content, right? So people were copy-pasting, creating websites, putting links and all that kind of stuff. So it was penalizing that. Overnight, I remember friends that had taken this strategy. Overnight, their website went from ranking number 1 to 5th page of Google. Overnight. I mean, I kid you not. This update happened, and everybody's site tanked. And you could basically just, things just evaporated for a lot of people. There was a huge outcry in the industry. But the Panda update had several iterations of it between 2011 and 2015, because they spent a lot of time cleaning things up, and it affected a lot of sites. I had already sold my site back then, nothing malicious or anything like that, but I was following standard operating procedures in case anybody wants to send me a nasty note. But my site tanked. I followed up on it, 2012 or 2013. It was not ranking number 1 at all. Yeah, I don't have that site anymore. Anyway, and then the Penguin update was a follow-up to the Panda update, and that update was in 2012, April of 2012. And that one specifically targeted link spam and manipulative link building practices. And the main goal of that was to combat black hat SEO tactics like link schemes, link buying, and link exchanges, right? Now, I'm not trying to say I did black hat SEO. I didn't do black hat SEO. I wasn't buying and selling links actively. It's just that every once in a while I would get a request and I would do it, right? It's not like I'm doing anything illegal here. This is targeting specific black hat people setting up link farms where you could auction off links, you could buy and sell and things like that. So that was the target of that. And then the devaluing of the low quality, irrelevant backlinks was the main goal. And then rewarding natural, authoritative links. Keyword stuffing, which obviously people, were doing. That was targeted a while back, but I think this update targeted that as well. And then the over-optimization of anchor text. So a couple of things came out of these updates. One was this idea that you could be over-optimized, where sometimes you could read a website back then and you knew that it was optimized. It was just crazy reading the content. It was written for the search bot and not for the human being. So obviously that's not useful to people. I mean, it could rank really high, but it's not really useful, right? I mean, you want it to be written for human beings so that they get benefit out of it, and not have it written for search bots. So that was a big outcome of it. And then the other thing was this idea that you could disavow backlinks came into vogue. You can still do that. You can, if you have a Google Search Console account, you can disavow links that you consider to be coming from low quality sources. So just because you have a link doesn't mean you have to, be penalized for it. So, Google doesn't know whether that was done intentionally or it was done unintentionally, because I can link to your site anytime I want. But if you feel like my site is not authoritative enough or is not relevant to you, you can disavow that. In fact, I actively encourage my clients to go through their backlinks and make sure that there's nothing bad there. And we make it a point of going through and disavowing low quality backlinks that we might see in those situations, right? And obviously, there was a joke running around at that time that if you Google your symptoms, let's say you're having your eyes twitching or something like that, and you have a fever and you have a backache or something like that, and you did a search, the best outcome is not like the most medically authoritative site. It's just the one that has the best SEO. So you got to take those Google results with a grain of salt sometimes. So that was back then. I still believe that they manipulate those results quite heavily, especially around certain categories of content. I think COVID being one of them. It was very disingenuous the way they manipulated their algorithm back in 2020, 2021, and 2022. If you compared search results from a search engine like DuckDuckGo versus Google, you could see some pretty big differences. But anyway, that's not the point of this podcast, but just thought I'd put that in there. So Google's current position on backlinks is that you need to get organic backlinks. You need to get it from high quality sources. And there are certain domain categories that are high sources, right? I mean, .edu, .org, they're usually considered good sources. So if you can get a backlink to your website from a .edu domain, that's going to be really cool, right? So their emphasis is on natural link acquisition and earned links. So if somebody genuinely reads your content and when they're writing their content, they feel like they can link to you, that would be the ideal outcome here, right? So that's their current position. So that's why getting a backlink is so challenging. Getting a backlink is very difficult. A quality backlink is very difficult. I recently had a friend of mine who was wanting to do SEO, and he was shopping around, and he said, "Hey, can you guys take a look at this proposal?" And I took a look at this proposal, and these guys were promising him 40 backlinks a month. I thought, wow, I don't think anybody on this side of eternity can get 40 backlinks, high quality backlinks a month. Now, if you can get 40 high quality backlinks a month, all power to you, right? But I don't think you can. It'd be like saying somebody ran a marathon in like an hour. Just not going to happen, guys, So take those SEO proposals with a grain of salt. They're not, they mean well, I'm sure, but they really oversell you on the backlinks. And this is where Google's current recent big news comes from, right? It was published in searchenginejournal.com, at least that's where I read it, is that Google's John Mueller is the head of search at Google, and he said, the total number of backlinks doesn't matter. Okay, let's let that sink in a little bit. So we spent the last 25 years focusing on backlinks, getting good links, all that kind of stuff, right? So now they're saying that the number of backlinks to your website doesn't matter. And here's the thing. I'm not trying to sound like I know everything, but I've been doing this for a long time. What I can tell you is that since about 2018, I've had this hunch. I've had this hunch for a number of reasons. I have a lot of sites that I work on, and I've worked on a lot of sites over the years. And we have focused solely on content, just really, really good content for these clients. And their traffic volume doubles, triples every year. And there's one site that I have that I've been working on since 2018. And from the time that we started working on it, just focusing on content, that site traffic is up, I think, 1,800%. Right? Now let that sink in. We have done zero link building efforts during that time. We have done maybe once or twice here. This is a site, .edu. Can you maybe link to this? Or, hey, PR, can you do this? Yeah, That's all we've done, right? And so now they're confirming my suspicion, to be honest with you. And I read the article, and I had one of my AI tools write a summary of what George said, or John said. He clearly stated that Google does not differentiate between based on the total number of backlinks or the total number of unique linking domains. Instead, Google looks at links in a very different way, trying to understand the relevance of each individual link and how much weight to give it. So what they're saying is, don't focus on backlinks. Focus on good quality content, right? And if you get one or two links, that's probably all you need. You don't need to go to some SEO vendor in some XYZ country and sign a contract where they're going to try to get you 40 backlinks per month. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. That is not a viable SEO strategy in 2024 and beyond, right? So any SEO strategy that is 100% or 90% or 75% focused on backlinks, even 60%, even 50% focused on backlinks is a bad strategy. There, I said it. I'm waiting for the hate mail, guys. Send me hate mail. I want to read your hate mail on this one, okay? I will bank on the fact, and I have paying clients that I'm banking this on, and I have not been proven wrong since 2018. That's when I started getting this hunch that backlinks is not, the quality of the backlinks does not matter. So when the quantity doesn't matter. Quality matters, but even quality, if you can get one quality backlink per year, you're fine. Okay. Even if you get one quality backlink every 2 years, you're fine. All right. The goal is don't focus on that. And I talk to people in different industries, and I talked to one, web design development firm that does content marketing. And the owner was saying, yeah, we do SEO, but we don't do any backlinking. And she was kind of ashamed of that and felt like I need to find an outsourcing partner that does backlinks, right? I want to tell her, you don't need to do that. Don't do that at all. So you got my opinion there. I'm a little opinionated about this topic, but rightly so, I guess, right? Because when you feel passionate about it, you feel passionate about it. So what does this mean for you as a business owner? What does it mean for you as a webmaster? You got your website. What does it mean for you? What this means for you, and I've already done a podcast episode on this, focus on eating. Yeah, I said that. Focus on eating. EEAT. That's an acronym for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. That's an acronym that Google uses. You can go to Google and you can search it. You're going to find hundreds of articles on this topic. Just do a Google search. Go to their own page. I think they have a position paper on this whole thing. You can download directly from the horse's mouth. Yeah, you can. What this means is it gives a guideline for what kind of content they rank. And they focus on experience. So if you can highlight your personal experience in the content that you're writing, firsthand experience, real world skills, knowledge of the content creator on the topic, demonstrating the authority that you have, practical experience in your content, topics, that you really know something about, right? Like I really know something about backlinking. I'm an authoritative source on this, to be honest with you. I don't work for Google, but I've worked around SEO since 1998 to really give you an idea of what works and what doesn't. So the second thing is expertise, your qualifications. Do you have a degree? Are you an MD? Are you a, paralegal? Are you a attorney? What are you? What's your expertise? Put that on your website, in your bio, reference the universities that you went to, put links to your universities, develop your expertise on that. And then authoritativeness, right? Credibility. Have you said good things on the internet? Have you said bad things on the internet? Have people left you bad reviews? Have people left you good reviews? Things like that. Citations. Have you been cited by other people? Are other people linking to you? This is probably where backlinking comes into play. That's why I said you don't need very many, right? If you get one or two really good backlinks, that's all you need. Like we have a estate planning attorney and they've got one or two backlinks from funeral homes, right? That's a good vote of confidence, right? I mean, funeral homes, they're advising people on death issues. And so they might say, hey, what's your estate plan look like? Maybe it impacts the funeral. So if they've got a nice article on estate planning and links back to the estate planning attorney's site, that's cool. I mean, I don't think they're buying and selling links. I mean, anyway, I don't want to make any jokes about that. And then trustworthiness, right? Does your content have good, trustworthy articles in it or not? So as long as you do EEAT, EAT, man, I don't like their acronyms. Honestly, Google does a terrible job of acronyms. EEAT, I think there could be a better acronym. Maybe I should spend some time figuring that out, right? So anyway, so if you focus on eating, you're going to do well on search. So anyway, so that's my episode today. I covered the history and the importance of backlinks when it comes to SEO. I talked about the abuse of backlinks, the Panda update, the Penguin update, and then I also gave you an overview on Google's current position on backlinks and then what it means for your digital strategy. So take my advice, do everything I told you on this podcast, and go on and get your site ranked well, do it right, and happy marketing to you.
If you're a small business owner, a marketer in a company, or an entrepreneur, this podcast is for you. You'll become better educated and informed when it comes to digital marketing. And if you implement the strategies, tactics, and tools I discuss in this podcast, your business will grow and prosper. To subscribe, go to corneryourmarketpodcast.com. That again is corneryourmarketpodcast.com. You can also search for Corner Your Market in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcast, or wherever you get your podcast, and you can subscribe through those apps. Also, don't forget to like and share our individual episodes. You can also leave a review. Finally, I would love to hear from you, so if you have any questions, feedback, or general comments about the topics I discuss, feel free to send me an email. I will be sure to share and discuss your feedback on the air if it will benefit our listening audience. You can write to me at connect@corneryourmarketpodcast.com. Just put listener comment in the subject line. That email again is connect@corneryourmarketpodcast.com. Thanks for listening. I look forward to being back next week. Until then, be good and do good.